And we're live. Well, welcome to Tech Thursday. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Cassie.
And we've got a pretty exciting little show here today. It's because we put a lot of work, right? All of us into doing things online, and it just makes sense to think about what we've done in a slightly different way.
Yeah, so if you're doing marketing stuff like we do, it kind of makes sense to, I guess, make the most out of any project that you do, or, you know, you put a lot of work, a lot of time, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into a bit of promotional material, say like this video, and you kind of just want to make sure that you, I guess, get the most bang for your buck.
Absolutely.
Your buck being, you know, the blood, sweat, and tears we mentioned. So as you're doing something, you want to think like, how can I use this in other channels?
Yeah, how can I use this again, or how can I use this a little bit differently to get to a different group of people?
To kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, because not everyone's on the same websites. You're going to make a terrible analogy. I want to hear it now.
I was going to say like a t-shirt that you really love and don't want to get rid of. I mean, that's a terrible analogy because, you know, you have to get rid of it at a certain point. It's disintegrating and it's just not acceptable to wear anymore.
You can put the front part of it with the cool logo on the t-shirt quilt.
Okay, yeah, that's where I was going with that. Or like make it into a headband, or like repurpose it. You haven't gotten rid of it. It's just not a t-shirt anymore. It's a headband. Or a quilt.
Or both.
Or both. Yes.
Yeah, because you can use the neck part for the headband, and then you can use the logo part for like the, yeah. But oh yeah, all kinds of ideas. But
yeah, so not everyone's on the same thing. So like my dad's not on Instagram.
Right.
But he might watch a video on Google Plus.
Right.
If he knew where that was.
So this little, I guess, video is just about how to think about your content in different ways, and maybe just kind of get your mind moving in that direction. Because honestly, like, so Cassie wrote some really good notes and stuff before this thing, and then I was looking through them, and then it got my mind going to even more things, and I'm sure it'll probably do the same for you. So it's interesting that people want things in different formats. So I have a little
this is like, yeah, there's no end to the possibilities.
There really is.
Our minds are going, your minds are going. What can we do with all the things? Anyway,
so many things.
So your story.
Oh my God, no. Did I tell you about the creepy? So on the blog, when I first started, I had friends who said, "Oh, Nicole, I want to read your blog, but I don't have time to read." And so I found this plugin. This is like 5 or 6 years ago. I'm sure there's much better technology now. I think it was called AudioGogo or something like that. And it would read the text in like a disembodied voice. Kind of like, I guess you could have Siri or whatever on your phone, like read you stuff now. It was the same thing, but so someone could go to your blog post and click this thing, and it would read them the text, and it would be like, "Welcome to the marketing blog. Today's blog post is about," and it would read it in this voice, and you
can do that on Macs. Yeah, they have the different little voices.
Like male or female.
The doom and gloom one.
The doom and gloom. Oh, do they have? How many voices do they have?
Oh gosh, when I was in 7th grade, we would play around with them, and we'd highlight text and have it read. It was so much fun. We got in trouble.
Oh my God. Well, this program just had male or female. So yeah, and the woman's voice, they were phoning that.
Like a man trying to be a female. Do you think they just have the same guy? Like,
I don't know. The woman's voice though was like, it was distracting. And the guy's voice was just weird instead of weird and distracting. So I picked the guy's voice, and it was so funny because it had stats on it. So like I went and I saw that like, oh, 20 people listened to this, and I'm like, 20 people like got through, like wanted to get to this content so bad. That they clicked on the little thing and let a disembodied voice read them the content. Like, that's pretty interesting.
Huh.
It makes me, every time that I think about this story, I always think we should put something like that on our blog now. Let me make a note of it.
Actually, one of the things that I heard, speaking of doing blog post to audio, it was like doing that, but stripping it and making it just into a podcast so that your blog post directly, like having someone else do the reading or like read it, just like read verbatim your blog post and record yourself.
That's a really good idea too.
So then you're on like 2 separate channels.
Right. Yeah. You're in the iTunes store or Stitcher or wherever else people download podcasts. And then you're also on your website. So people are getting it multiple ways. You can make those things communicate. It's not, it's just a matter of setting it up. But yeah, the most work is, of course, to either get someone or get yourself to get it recorded and put somewhere useful in a good format. So that's one thing, is to take something and put it in a slightly different medium. So if something's written, making it audio. If something's a video, you can strip out the audio. If something's an audio, you can transcribe it into written. It can work the other way too.
Yeah, so like another thing we could do is like if we strip the audio from, say, this video, we could use that audio and then make a little like one of those infographic videos. So you wouldn't just see us, but we'd still be talking, but like it would be a little like we could have like little, if we were.
I like that.
That's art.
No, I like that. I think
that's
that's
my infographic art.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
So like, how like, I'm trying to think.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of videos I've noticed
like
on Facebook that you can basically you watch the video because it starts auto playing in the middle of your Facebook feed. But sometimes I'm just not in a place where I want to turn on the sound. Like Derek is on the other couch, and I don't want to bug him or whatever, or I just am at work and I sometimes to have it in a video format, but that doesn't require you to have sound necessarily to get the big points behind it.
Yes.
Infographic video, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Is that what they really call them?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I heard that or where I read that, but that's what they called it. Like the
BuzzFeed videos. When you think about it, some of them just don't have a lot of content necessarily. They're just done in a video format, so you can just kind of follow along.
I don't watch their videos.
Oh, see. Different demographics, people.
Yeah.
That's why you want to hit it different ways.
Let's see. And some of it requires those are pretty, I guess, minimal. You already have the stuff there that you need to work with. But if you want to say take a blog post and make it into a newsletter or a presentation, that might require a little more fleshing out. Newsletters are typically, I think that just requires a different way of structuring. Or
Right.
if you want to make it into a presentation, that you might need to add a little more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the thing is, even if you put in a little bit more work, and it becomes this other thing that 10,000 extra people see. If you put in an extra 2 hours of work to, take the things and put it into slides. I mean, the other thing too is you can hire someone to do that. Those people exist. They're presentation experts who can take something that you've written and put it in a presentation format. Probably in a couple of hours. Versus if you're not so good at presentations, it might take you a little bit longer. But
it's maybe 10% more work tacked on to what you've already done.
Right. And if twice as many people are going to see it, right? It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, that is the case. And not only more people, but different people see it, which I think is just as important.
Yeah. Or you can take a presentation and boil it down into a blog post.
That's true. Yeah. So think about what you have, and then think about who else you want to reach. So if you want a more professional audience, maybe you want to make a presentation and put it on SlideShare and share it onto LinkedIn or something. If you want a younger audience, maybe you want to take, the thing and distill it into a, something that could be used on Instagram or in Snapchat or something like that. So just think about who you want to reach and what you have, and that will kind of give you an idea of what you're starting with and maybe what you're ending with. And maybe you end with a couple of other things besides the one thing that you're initially thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I like your other idea here too, which is to take something and update it.
I was just going to go for that one.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the most popular blog posts I ever wrote was a blog post about MailChimp versus Constant Contact, but I wrote it almost 4 years ago. And so every once in a while, of course, someone will find it online. And even though there's a date on the top of the blog post, someone will still leave a comment like, that's not true. And you know what? Like, I'm sure that blog post wasn't true like 2 months after I wrote it. You know, it's tech, like it changes, features change, you know, offerings change. So I've always been like, yeah, this blog post is old. So then I thought, well, I might as well update it. So what I did was I went to the old blog post, which is still getting a lot of traffic, and I put a link saying like, if you want an updated version of this post, here it is. And then I wrote a new one. So I'm taking that old information that people are already getting to, and I'm sending them to other part of the blog that I think is more useful. Something that was written, you know, this year versus almost 4 years ago.
Yeah. So that's kind of like reusing a topic. Like you've already touched on that topic, but something changed. So if you have like a topic that you've already discussed or like a title or something, you can go back and.
Right. And sometimes you'll write something and it'll just really resonate with people. And it's nice you're like, oh, well, people really care about this. Maybe I should delve into this a little bit deeper. So you can think of your blog as like a way to test out if something's interesting to people. And if it is, then that can give you a topic to start from or to update or, you know, or to delve deeper into.
Yeah. And if you delve deeper and find like, I don't know, I was going to say digging to China, but that's like overly weird. Not what I want to say. I'm trying to say like go to blog series if there's a lot of information.
Right. Yeah. You don't need to put it all in one series. You're all in one big long wall of text. If you start feeling like it looks like a wall of text, take the opportunity to break it up. You don't have to say it all the same, and you can actually build excitement too by having, you know, okay, next week we'll talk about this, the week after we'll talk about that, like, and then at the end go back and link them all together. So if someone gets to the first one or someone gets to the second of 4, make sure you link back to the first one and also the 2 that come after, so that, because if they got to 1, they're probably interested in the other ones as well.
Yes.
So, and we talked about some of this.
Images, I think, is the next.
Yeah. So you probably have noticed that images look different on different websites. Certain websites have more rectangular images. Certain websites have, Instagram has square images. And so if you're going to make an image, it's nice to think about it in a couple of different ways. Like if you're, you know, going to share it in your email newsletter, which is, you know, probably 600-ish pixels wide at its maximum. Facebook now has higher resolution images, so maybe you want a slightly bigger.
So does Instagram, actually.
Oh, really? Huh. What do you? Higher resolution images. They just happen to be crop square, or are they?
It just said they're better quality.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah. Well, if that guy was able to print them off and put them in the gallery. So this guy took a bunch of Instagram photos from other people and put them. He had their Instagram thing with the caption underneath it and then his comment on it, and he blew them up into big posters and sold them for like $12,000-$15,000 each.
Yeah, this
he got in really big trouble.
This update was like last week.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I was wondering how he could like print them off so big, and also how he felt like he could get away with doing that.
Some people's kids.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, so thinking about saying, okay, if I'm going to make an image for my blog post or something, thinking about making a square version of it, thinking about making a version of it that's maybe like more panoramic, to use maybe in your email newsletter, because maybe you don't want it to take up a lot of real estate, but you want it to stand out. That's what the panoramic size can totally do.
Yeah, and like with the people, I follow a lot of like running blogs. And the things they share on Instagram are it's really just like things that they also inserted in their blog posts. Like I saw this thing and thought it was funny.
But what was it, cutting off or something? Was it cutting a guy's head in half or something like that?
No, it's just like a little Instagram picture that they kind of share on both channels.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But sometimes like in the Instagram one, they'll have it linked back to their blog.
Nice.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it's like usually just like a little, like all I can think of right now is like an avocado comic.
Yeah.
Like one of those little things, but that's the only example I have in real life.
No, it's definitely, I've definitely seen people do it because it's like if you're gonna go through the effort of either opening up Photoshop or a program like it to, to kind of lay out an image, it's nice to think about it in a little bit different formats. While you have it open, you might as well save it in a few formats, then be able to have options of how to use it differently.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say, like, thinking about things that live online, making it so they can live offline is a nice thing too. So for example, taking like a blog series and making it into an ebook that someone could download and read on their device. Because sometimes, like, we live in an area like this, the internet is a little bit precarious, and sometimes it's nice to have something that works for someone offline. They can read it when they're flying, when they're flying somewhere on their iPad or in places that the internet just isn't, which is more of the world than you think. So even if you made a video, make it downloadable. I follow this guy online and he does a video interview every month and he lets people download it. So you can download it and I can like watch it on my phone later. I don't have to worry about the internet connection getting interrupted or anything like that. The videos are longer format too. So that's definitely of concern when you have an hour-long video that your internet connection could reset and suddenly you're back at the beginning of the video again. So thinking about making things in a format that not just people can look at online, but that they can take offline with them if they want to. Because there are those people that like things offline. And some of them are your customers. So, and yeah, and I'm trying to think of what else, looking at our notes here. The other thing too is that there's more than one website to share just about anything. I mean, there's more than one beer social network. So there's, for example, there's more than one video streaming service. We have YouTube, we have Vimeo, and these are all good options. And what I mean, I wouldn't say on our part, we actually have a channel on both. We use YouTube for these videos, among other things, and that we like for tutorials and things like that. It's a little bit, to me, it's a little bit more artistic or sort of small craft, if you will. But if we made something really cool, I would put it on both, because why not?
I've never been on Vimeo.
Yes. I think someone is coming in. I think it's on the stairs. Oh, okay, they found it. So we sorry. Busy co-working space issues. So yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't do it as a rule every time, but if I spent time making something really cool that I thought would work on both channels, I would certainly put it both places, because there are different people who like different services, even if they do serve a really similar purpose. In the case of YouTube and Vimeo streaming video. There we go. Can't talk today. So I think that's about it, unless you have anything to add about repurposing content.
No, I think that's all I've got.
Yeah. So if you have a topic for us, we are trying to figure out ways to do some of our topics. We really want to do a video, for example, about Periscope, but we're trying to figure out how to do it in a way that you can also see what's on our mobile screen. So there's a couple of things that we'd like to do videos on, but if you have a specific idea of things that you would like to see from us, please tell us, because we're open to that.
Yes.
You can leave a comment on this video, or
that are related to Tech Thursday, please.
We've gotten some unrelated comments about our appearance, which, while we appreciate, we would kind of appreciate more feedback about content. So, so yeah, so you can just leave a comment on this video, or you can go to breakingeveninc.com and fill out our contact form, and we can get to you that way.
In so many ways.
So many ways.
And yeah, we'll see you next week.
All right, see you next week, guys. Bye.